Neo down more than expected, but other than that, I am very happy with my latest choices. Anyone following the podcast knows that I sold Nvidia at around $204. Nvidia currently trading at 180 and pre-opening today seems like it will be around 175 despite super result last week. And Tesla, which I sold over $450, is under $400 at $395. In last week's podcast, I told you that I might use this week to buy because the title was Is this last red week? And I even said that I believed Wednesday might be the day I would use for buying. But I didn't buy on Wednesday because Wednesday turned out a little different than I expected. Yesterday was absolutely in line, and I believe that I will do my buys today. Short recap last week, I said I thought it would be a red week, but maybe Wednesday would be the worst, the day where I would buy, because I think the week ahead of us will be green. You're listening to the StockInvest.us podcast, Trading Tips with Jim, and if you haven't subscribed, maybe it's a good time to subscribe now. 6 years in running a podcast where I've been telling you exactly what I think and what I believe the future will hold, the bigger trends up and down. Gold, for instance, when gold was 1,600, I told you buy, because I am buying. I sold my gold to use the chance to get into Nvidia and Tesla on the last dump. So far, that was a super good decision, despite gold going above my target of 4,000. I sold a little early, but that was to use the chance in Nvidia and Tesla. And mentioning these two companies, when I sold them, I told you that I'm not pessimistic about the stocks at all. I love a company like Tesla. I think the price of Tesla will 5 times over the next decade for sure. And it's not so much about cars, but about their robot techniques, which we will see much more in the months. And for sure, 2026, we will start to see the real potential of this. We have robot taxi, of course, as well, but especially the robotics is super interesting for me. But I thought Tesla was a little high. I see the chance to accumulate stocks, so I sold Tesla. I gave the same argument for Nvidia. I think that I can get in earlier at lower price in Nvidia to accumulate. Current prices is still a little high. Today it is Friday. You will maybe see this podcast today if you're lucky. Most likely you will see it in the weekend or early already next week. That is why you should subscribe, by the way, so you can get it instantly when it is out. Today I probably going to buy some of the 4 stocks which I recommended last week. I told you 4 stocks which I think will do very good. And in the future, based on earnings results, etc., stocks which I think personally can have a huge upside. It's more like gamble stocks. For sure, there is no free lunch. And I thought that during this week, there will be some really red days and you can get some nice discounts. And the stocks were BigBear.ai, BigBear.ai, Oklo, Plug, and Rigetti. These were the 4 stocks I said last week I think can do very well in the future. And I love red weeks. I prey on red weeks. That is where I buy when it's really red. I use the chance to buy, and I sell in green weeks. Something I've been doing for years and years, and it works perfectly. Most people, they sell in red weeks, and in green weeks they just buy, doing the opposite, meaning that you always get a little higher prices when you can get it a little lower. And if you look at BigBear.ai, since I mentioned last week, on last Friday, it was closing at $6.06, currently trading around $5.49. I was hoping maybe getting a little lower in a short, we will see today, but very interesting. Oklo, also down almost 10%, was trading at 97, currently at 88. Then is Plug. And Plug is down to 189 after falling 16% last week. Plug is interesting not my super favorite choice. Rigetti is more of it. It was at $25 last Friday, currently at $22 after being down 10%. Nasdaq, by the way, fell so far by 3.59%. We don't know the end of the week yet, as it's still Friday, but it will be a red week. Very hard to see Nasdaq going above 3% today in any circumstances. So there you have 4 stocks, and I have cash. I have cash available because I was selling at 4 weeks ago. I told you I'm reducing my exposure into the market because I think we will have a natural correction. I gave you the limits, the levels, everything, and now I want to use some of this cash to get back. I bought last week Chipotle stock, currently sitting in profit, and I told you why I bought Chipotle. And now I will look into invest into more. But which 2 of these 4 stocks will I get into? You just have to wait a little bit. First, we will look at some economic data, some court results, before I will get back to the stock or the stocks, which I personally will go into.
Tick-tock goes the market clock. Bulls run wild, bears don't talk. Up or down, it's a coin flip game. Buy low, sell high, don't lose your grip. Stay sharp, stay fast on this trading trip. It's trading tips with Jim. Win or learn, never gim. Stack your knowledge to the brim. Tune in now, let's begin.
And for the top events this week, it will be Thursday off. It's Thanksgiving in the United States, so the markets will be closed, so there will be no trading on Thursday. Monday we will have Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index. It is giving a slight insight how the things will be, and if it will affect anything, it will be the energy sector and industrial stocks. I can say straight up that consumer defensive is stocks which I really like now. These usually pay very strong dividends. They hold up in bad times, and there is no guarantee that the stock market, even though it will probably react up, will not continue downwards for some time moving forward, having a reaction up and then just continue downwards. Consumer defensive stocks is a good place in my opinion. And just if you're a new listener, so how do I play these? I play usually by long trends. I told you when Biden was elected, buy war stocks because this is going to turn into something really bad. And anyone that followed that advice, for instance, Norway, I said the Kongsberg Automotive, anyone following these advices has made a lot of money. Weapon industry will continue to pay very nice dividends because they have orders for a long time, but the conflict level in the world has dropped significantly, and currently it seems like it will continue to go downwards, and not the sector where I think the growth will be. But consumer defensive have had a beating, and I think it's a good chance to get in before next upturn. Tuesday will be and also on Monday there will be a 2-year note notification. This is more interesting to see how attractive US debt is, and because it will set the tone for the yield, the treasury yield, and the treasury yield usually, if it goes up, market goes down. You learned this many years ago, was very correct, and it's an easy indicator for many people to follow. If it climbs up, markets will struggle a little bit. Sometimes markets is a little off and not following exactly, but as a general rule, very simple. Get that thing down, markets go up, and it's been pushing downwards for the last 9 months. So that will also be on Monday. I don't think it will affect the market very much, but it's an interesting thing to watch. And I told you, I believe dollar will strengthen drastically. And I told you that when dollar was 118 against euro. Currently dollars is sitting at 115, continuing to strengthen. I think it will do so. Having a personal bet on it, I actually think that dollar will, like it was a few years back when it was stronger than the euro. It was almost the opposite I think we will get back to that. Tuesday will be a very interesting day because it will produce price index numbers, and we will have it also for the core, both of them, and expect it to show that inflation is around 0.2%. But I don't think there will be any major things. We are at the end where things are coming together. You have to remember 4 years of absolutely pain for everyone, with increasing prices every single year, everything going in the absolutely wrong direction. It takes time to correct these things, but they are coming together. The inflation is dropping. It will spike now and then due to different things, but in general I think it will be on par of what is expected, maybe even better. There will also be some retail sales numbers on Tuesday, and that will show you what the consumers are thinking. But in general, consumers are struggling. And this, I feel sometimes I repeat too much, but I know a few of you are new users, listeners, and many of you like a small recap. But I told you way back that credit cards are maxed out everywhere. End of Biden period, beginning of Trump period. I told you that resources are exhausted in every possible way. You cannot have 30, 40, 50% increase in different prices, food prices and everything, without having a consequence. In the beginning, you use all your disponible money. Disposable, of course, it's you don't want to just waste it, but your disponible cash, either it is in your bank as savings, so you start to trim off these, then you start to use credit card. At the end, you don't have any more ways to get out of things. The next thing is pay raise, and pay raise are increasing in US and at a good speed. Same thing with unemployment number coming in stronger than expected. The reason why market was not happy yesterday, because that means the Fed probably will not cut interest rates as much as expected. This thing will take some time to correct, because people went into the Biden period with good economy, and it started off good, lots of subsidies. Then from that point on, just a downturn. These things take time to turn, and we are in that period where it's turning. My point is, and that is about user behavior, user consumer expenditures, etc. They are reducing their spendings. This is the argument why I bought Chipotle. Chipotle is down 50% from just a year ago or more, and they are doing really good, strengthening the business. Everything is there, but it's just these expectations from you, the stock traders, from the market. I think these things will come back. Work will skyrocket in US with all the investments coming into US right now. Next year in US is going to be a year many people will remember for a very long time. Unless the politics goes sideways. And we see tendencies of this, of course, but economy, everything shows that the economy might be super duper. And when that happens, you will get the boost back. And I think consumer defensives, Target, Walmart, all of these will be very good places to be. And if for some reason things get a little wrong, still you have to have your consumer defensive goods. And meaning that when you have to choose between the super upside in AI, the super upside in other technology companies, or as consumer defensive beaten down, my choice is to have the secure part of my portfolio into these more secure stocks. But I will, as I promised, or as I said early on in this podcast, I will buy one stock which will be very, very risky, but huge potential. Will it be BigBear.ai? Will it be Plug? Will it be Rigetti? just a few minutes more. Wednesday will come with more inflation numbers, and it's the one thing that can push the market in either way. But no big expectations there. I think even coming in a little above expectations will not change the market. And there will be some work numbers. These are mainly the economic numbers. These are the background for what will happen next week, the information that will flow into the market alongside the quarter results. I will mention a few of them as well. But these are the main thing. If you look at this buy and sell signals, this is a very, very good tool. I use it in every single podcast because it measures the temperature of the market. Currently, 19% of all companies are giving buy signals, down from 26. Now we finally are in the area which I like. If you follow this podcast, you know this. Whenever this number is getting low, and Nasdaq only 7% buy signals. When this number is down at 7.9, I said it even 4 weeks ago, get it down to 7.9, I am buying. This is the place where I buy. But do know this, and I put it in bold, I underline it twice and write it in big letters, so you have to understand that when the number of Nasdaq is this low, 7, volatility will be high. You can have much harder fall. We can get into 3 days of very, very hard falls. This is exactly the situation where things will be super volatile, and I might be wrong. As I said, I will buy 1 or 2 companies today. I might be wrong. Might get red week next week, really bad red week next week. I bet on a green. But it still may happen because that is exactly what happens when the numbers are this low. But 7 in Nasdaq is the place where I buy. You cannot skim through 6 years of podcast, but you heard me say the same thing every time. When it has been these low numbers, I buy. I bought Tesla, I bought Nvidia, I doubled in both. I did the same thing. These numbers, the buy and sell signals were super low, pessimism all over. I get in. And usually the upturn is. How big the upturn will be, nobody knows. Will it just be a short correction? Don't know, but this is the place where I buy. New York Stock Exchange down at 13, very, very low for New York Stock Exchange. London 22, Oslo 23, more or less stable for Oslo. Frankfurt at 23, down from 37. National Stock Exchange down at 17. Tokyo down to Tokyo at 34, actually going up. One of the only one going up. Tokyo is, or Japan is getting in better shape all the time, and it might be a decade of growth in Japan. Struggling with the elderly wave, struggling with a lot of things. Last time they got into super inflation and have been struggling for 20 more or more so years, but Japan is a market to look out for in the future. Just in China, only 22% buy signals, down from 31 last week. All of these says the same thing. Markets will be shaky like nothing else. And it might be a bloody red day today or a green day. And next week, Monday, may be very red or very green. This is exactly what happens when numbers are like this. High volatility. But I will buy it. And I think maybe just let's reveal one company before I tell you a few quarter results. I will get into Rigetti, RGTI, currently trading at $22.80 after falling 10% this week. I hope that the markets will open very red today with a scare. I will buy around 15 minutes into the trade because that is usually where things turn. And see how it plays out. Then there is one more stock, which I did mention many weeks back. I just need this at a good level and I will get in. But first will be Rigetti, meaning that I will invest into 2 stocks. A few quarter results, time is going, we have to get to the end of the podcast. Few quarter results, then the $1,000 challenge, and of course the last stock that I will buy. From quarter results, it will be Agilent Technologies aftermarket on Monday. It's one company that you should check out. and it is about medical and pharmaceuticals, etc., and will give an insight into the biotech industry, especially how they are working towards China. Then there will be Zoom video, and I told you when Zoom was at the top 2-3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I said, no, the pandemic is over now. When we were at the end of the pandemic, I would sell all this shit. And Zoomerica is from trading around $400 down to around 100 or 80 or something like this. They will have quarter results coming up, and everyone argues that no, you have to look into how they are playing with AI and how this will create the future. But do understand that people are getting back to work. All these Zoom things are, I don't think the future will be the same as it has been. Yeah, we will use these communication tools, etc., but the competition is already there. I'm not sure there is the same amount of margins in the market, but still a company to watch out. Check the quarter results, because it might be one of these companies that will grow a little bit back, but my bet says that I'm not sure they will do it, because I really think that the future looks very different. We're getting back to the very, very core basics. Get to work, do your work, get paid, because in the end of the day, profit is the only thing that matters. Without profit, no company can survive, and then there will be no salaries, no nothing. So I think we are at that place where all these video meetings will not be like it was. Still there is money, but you have to check the evaluation and see if it can match the expected future earnings. Alibaba will also come on Tuesday before market. Very interesting company. And then it will be Analog Devices also before market. It will be Dell Computers after Dell Technologies after market, and that is very interesting because it is about this AI. Nvidia was pushing super strong results. All of this is trickling down the chains, and you can see how Dell is doing. Workday will come also after market. You will have Autodesk, you will have Zscaler coming in, and Autodesk, for instance, I'm not sure. Remember, a lot of things are coming into the AI market. Wednesday will be Diran Company. Interesting. Again, a very interesting place. The most interesting will be the Wednesday as well. It will be before market. For me, the most interesting will be Li Auto. Li is the best of the rest in China after Tesla and Biden. So you have Li, and then you have NIO and a few others. China have been under extreme pressure, competition pressure. Prices have been slashed. Cars have been selling cars with losses to gain market shares, to gain volume. It went so far that the Chinese government said that this has to stop. It is hurting the business. Now we will get the first insights into what has changed since last quarter. And can profitability get into the green? Remember, a company like NIO said that Q4 will be the quarter where they show profitability, and I bought NIO at very low prices. Personally, I even put it into the $1,000 challenge. Did super great, went almost up to 8, but had a terrible week alongside all other stocks last week. Two things remain on the agenda, and if you haven't done so, remember to subscribe, and if you liked, I will be very happy if you like the video. Totally up to you to press the button or not. The last two items on the agenda today is the last company that I will buy and the $1,000 challenge. So I said already that I will get into Rigetti, and this, just so you understand, these are high-risk stocks. They are for the future. The expectations by the analysts and by my own systems is that these companies will generate quite much profit, and they are in a growth space, and this will translate to much higher stock prices in the future. They are very high priced, some of them, and if they cannot deliver on the promises, they will be slashed. So I put them in the high risk category, meaning that in no way or shape the total amount of what I consider to be high risk will never exceed 15% in my portfolio. That's a choice I made. I have a lot of shit stocks, but all of them together will not exceed 15%. Then I have a medium category where I allow some risk, but Rigetti and BigBear.ai, it will be BigBear.ai which I will buy. They are in my high risk category. I'm not ready to pull them into the medium risk category where I invest a little higher. So I will get these two companies for a little of all the money I made from selling Tesla and Nvidia. I will get into these stocks because I still want to get back to Tesla and Nvidia, but I'm not sure if it's the right place yet. I think these stocks, Rigetti, BigBear.ai, will get hammered. Hopefully they will be hammered on the opening. I can get them cheap. They already hammered quite much. While Nvidia will be slow, Tesla can get hammered further, down to 350ish maybe. I'm not sure exactly where it will be very interesting, and I will be back in Tesla. 25 minutes, one thing left, $1,000 challenge, and very, very easy. NIO. I will stay in NIO. I made, when NIO was 70.14, I started to say I expect I expect red weeks moving forward, natural correction down. And I forgot to say, sorry, I forgot to say about, I expect green week, I told you that. The reason why is that Nasdaq is oversold on the relative strength index. It's down at 27, can easily go deeper, but previous downs were higher. They were up at 35, 36, 37 when it turned last time. That was the argument I gave in last week's podcast, that RSI is still a little high, so it can fall. That is why I said I think this week would be red, but it could be the last one. Very, very little support until 21,000, meaning that we can get a shock end of the day where it falls even harder. But I think we are there where we will have a short-term reaction up, maybe all the way till Christmas, I'm not sure. But we see cracks in the overall very, very strong trend that has been. I thought Nasdaq could get to 25 before Christmas. Doesn't seem very likely right now. Then we have to have something very, very special happen over the next 6 weeks or whatever is left of the year. But we should have a rebound. That rebound should probably be up to 23,000. Hard to say. But right now, Nasdaq is oversold on the relative strength index. The classic falls. Now we have the divergent. Things I absolutely love is stock is falling very hard. Volume is going up. You're getting rid of a lot of the people that are scared or have to sell for other reasons. You have to remember, in today's trading, where a lot of people have borrowed money, so much shit companies, they use, so much traders use shit brokers, super leverage, cannot handle a 2% change in a day. And I told you volatility will go up. You have Nasdaq being down 3% in 1 minute to go up to 1% plus. Volatility is going crazy up and down, and during these periods, positions get cut, and if it falls, you get cutting of positions. People have to cover their margins, and it gets self-containing thing, driving markets further down. We'll see. I think it'll be the shakeout today. We will just have to see. NIO, as I said, 740 a few weeks ago when I started to think that it will be red weeks, but I said I think NIO will hold somewhat okay during this period, and you have no guarantee the market could just continue, but it didn't. Currently sitting at 540, leaving only 5.86% profit in the $1,000 challenge after being up more than 40%, 50% as well. We were at $5,500, growing 1,000 to $5,555. Now it's back to 3,800. We are under 4,000 again. But anyone listening know this is up and down. I believe we will get strongly back. I will not change my mind about NEO, now Lee will come next week with quarter results. It's one of these things that can fire up these stocks. Every analyst seems to agree with me that 8 is the minimum place where NEO should be. €8. I don't see in this market, I don't see much stocks. Yes, I can change it for Rigetti, I can change it for BigBear.ai, but these comes with even higher risk than just staying in NEO. If we look at, they just got funded and a few other things. That was everything. Became a 30-minute podcast this week as well. I hope for those of you still listening that you will have a super week ahead, that you will enjoy hopefully a good market, that your portfolio will be much greener than it was in the beginning of the week. I hope maybe to see you next week when I will be back with next podcast. Until then, just have a super week. Bye.
Welcome to StockInvest.us Stock Analysis. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money, and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. You should not base your investment decision upon StockInvest.us. By using the information you agree and are held liable for your own investment decisions.